Nobody has more influence with the government.
Multi-ethnic democracy, a multicultural democracy, is impossible.
Much more focused on
In the often polarized landscape of modern America, few figures have maintained as much influence and credibility as Jon Stewart. Best known for his tenure as the host of The Daily Show, Stewart has long been celebrated for his sharp wit, incisive commentary, and ability to blend humor with serious critique. His return to the spotlight, particularly with his recent outspoken critique of woke culture in Hollywood, has reignited debates about free speech, political correctness, and the role of the entertainment industry in shaping societal values. Before we start, hit the like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive news. To understand the significance of Jon Stewart's critique, it's important to first explore the rise of woke culture, a term that has become ubiquitous in recent years. Originally rooted in social justice movements, being woke initially meant being aware of and actively attentive to social inequalities and injustices, particularly those concerning race, gender, and sexual orientation. Over time, however, the term has evolved, often becoming a pejorative used to describe what critics see as performative activism or overzealous political correctness. Woke culture has come to dominate various aspects of public discourse, influencing everything from corporate branding to university policies. In Hollywood, the push for greater diversity and inclusion has been accompanied by a growing emphasis on avoiding anything that could be perceived as offensive. While this shift has led to some positive changes, such as increased representation of marginalized groups, it has also sparked controversy. Critics argue that the entertainment industry is increasingly pandering to a vocal minority, leading to censorship, self-censorship, and a stifling of creative expression. Stewart, who stepped down from The Daily Show in 2015, returned to the public eye with a new show, The Problem with Jon Stewart, in 2021. This new platform allowed him to tackle issues that he finds particularly pressing, with the same blend of humor and analysis that made him a household name. However, Stewart's tone has evolved. He now seems less concerned with simply lampooning the absurdities of the political landscape and more focused on deeper, systemic critiques. One of the most striking aspects of Stewart's recent commentary is his critique of woke culture and Hollywood's complicity in it. In various interviews and episodes of his show, Stewart has expressed frustration with what he sees as the superficial nature of Hollywood's embrace of social justice. He argues that while the industry is quick to jump on the bandwagon of trendy causes, it often fails to engage with these issues in a meaningful way. Instead, Stewart contends, Hollywood tends to offer token gestures of support, such as casting more diverse actors or inserting politically correct dialogue, without addressing the underlying structural problems that perpetuate inequality. Stewart's critique of Hollywood goes beyond its surface-level commitment to wokeness. He has pointed out the inherent contradictions in an industry that prides itself on progressive values, while simultaneously perpetuating harmful stereotypes and inequalities. Hollywood, after all, is an industry driven by profit, and Stewart suggests that its embrace of woke culture is often more about protecting its bottom line than affecting real change. For instance, Stewart has highlighted how Hollywood executives, who are predominantly white and male, often make decisions that reinforce the status quo rather than challenge it. These decisions include greenlighting projects that adhere to safe, established formulas rather than taking risks on stories that might truly push boundaries or offer fresh perspectives. Even when films and TV shows do address social issues, they often do so in ways that are palatable to mainstream audiences, avoiding any real confrontation with the complexities of those issues. Moreover, Stewart has criticized the way Hollywood handles backlash. In an era where social media can amplify criticisms overnight, the industry often responds with knee-jerk reactions, such as canceling projects or issuing public apologies, rather than engaging in thoughtful discussions about the criticisms at hand. This approach, Stewart argues, not only fails to address the root causes of the backlash, but also contributes to a culture of fear and self-censorship among creatives. One of the areas where Stewart's critique is particularly pointed is in the realm of comedy. As a comedian himself, Stewart is acutely aware of how woke culture has affected the art form. comedy has always thrived on pushing boundaries and challenging societal norms, but in the current climate, many comedians feel constrained by the fear of offending certain groups. This, according to Stewart, has led to a kind of creative paralysis, where comedians are hesitant to tackle controversial subjects or experiment with edgy material. Stewart has lamented the loss of what he calls the comedic recklessness that once defined the genre. He argues that comedy should be a space where ideas can be tested and where even offensive jokes can spark important conversations. However, in today's climate, comedians often find themselves walking a tightrope, trying to balance humor with the risk of being canceled. This has led some to self-censor, while others have simply chosen to avoid potentially controversial topics altogether. Stewart's own approach to comedy has always been one that balances satire with a deep understanding of the issues he discusses. His critiques of politicians, media figures, and public institutions are often biting, but they are also grounded in a desire to provoke thought and discussion. In this sense, Stewart embodies the idea that comedy can be both entertaining and socially relevant. However, he worries that the current climate is making it increasingly difficult for comedians to navigate this balance, ultimately leading to a less vibrant and diverse comedic landscape. Hollywood's response to Jon Stewart's critique has been mixed. Some within the industry have acknowledged the validity of his points, admitting that there is indeed a problem with performative wokeness and the superficial ways in which social justice issues are often addressed. Others, however, have pushed back, arguing that Stewart's critique fails to recognize the progress that has been made in recent years, particularly in terms of representation and inclusion. There is also a sense of defensiveness among some Hollywood insiders, who feel that they are being unfairly targeted by Stewart. They argue that the industry is simply responding to the demands of its audience, which increasingly expects entertainment to reflect their values and concerns. From this perspective, Hollywood's embrace of woke culture is seen not as pandering, but as a necessary evolution in an increasingly diverse and socially conscious society. However, Stewart's critique has also resonated with many outside the industry, particularly those who feel that Hollywood has become too detached from the realities of everyday life. For these individuals, Stewart's words serve as a reminder that the entertainment industry, like any other, is not immune to criticism and must be held accountable for the messages it sends and the impact it has on society. Stewart's critique of woke culture and Hollywood is part of a larger debate about free speech and censorship in America. In recent years, there has been growing concern about the ways in which political correctness and cancel culture are stifling open dialogue and the exchange of ideas. Critics argue that the fear of being labeled as offensive or problematic is leading to a chilling effect, where people are less willing to speak their minds or engage in honest debate. This debate is particularly relevant in the context of the entertainment industry, where the pressure to conform to certain social and political norms is often intense. Creators who step outside these boundaries risk facing backlash, both from the public and from within the industry itself. This can lead to a form of self-censorship, where artists limit their own creative expression in order to avoid controversy. Stewart has expressed concern about this trend, arguing that it undermines the very principles of free speech and open dialogue that are essential to a healthy democracy. He believes that society must be willing to engage with uncomfortable ideas and confront difficult truths, even if that means allowing for the possibility of offense. This, he argues, is the only way to ensure that progress is not merely superficial, but deep and lasting. Another aspect of Stewart's critique is his observation of the role that media plays in shaping public perception of woke culture and Hollywood. As a former media figure himself, Stewart is well aware of how narratives are constructed and disseminated. He has pointed out that the media often exacerbates divisions by framing debates in simplistic binary terms, woke versus anti-woke, progressive versus regressive, rather than exploring the nuances and complexities of these issues. This kind of framing, Stewart argues, contributes to the polarization of public discourse, making it harder for people to find common ground or engage in constructive dialogue. It also allows the media to avoid taking responsibility for its own role in perpetuating certain narratives. For example, while the media is quick to highlight instances of celebrities being canceled or shows being pulled due to backlash, It rarely delves into the underlying causes of these controversies or the broader societal issues they reflect. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us, what's your take on Jon Stewart's stance against woke culture? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.